we struggle to get stops at times, but also like the clock getting messed up. Like, it was just one thing after the next, but yeah, overall, like, it didn't bother me.
From worst to almost first, the Indiana Fever went from being the worst team in their conference to making the playoffs, all because of one rookie named Caitlin Clark. But now she's facing her biggest challenge yet. Can she bounce back from a tough playoff debut and keep the Fever's Cinderella story alive? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Clark's rookie season. You won't believe these numbers: 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game.
You know, I agree with what Kaylin just said. You know, like, we scored 69 points, and when we go back and watch this, I didn't really say much because I want to go back and watch and just kind of see. But I think we just, you know, these guys are going to shoot the ball a lot better on Wednesday.
That's not just good, that's insane. She turned the Fever from last place losers to playoff contenders. How crazy is that? But here's where it gets intense. Clark's facing her toughest test yet in the playoffs. The Connecticut Sun are known for their defense, and they're not messing around. Will Clark sink or swim? Can she keep the Fever's fairy tale going, or will their playoff dream turn into a nightmare? The stakes are high and everyone's watching. This is where legends are made or broken. Are you ready to see what happens next? You know what's crazier than Clark's stats? The way she's changing the game off the court. This rookie isn't just putting up numbers, she's turning the WNBA upside down. Let's talk about ticket sales. The Indiana Fever have gone from being the league's forgotten team to one of the hottest tickets in town. How did one player make that happen? It's simple: Caitlin Clark mania. Fans are lining up to see this rookie sensation in action. And it's not just die-hard basketball fans.
I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. Like, I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half.
I think, you know, they were going to make adjustments. They were going to change up their schemes. They were going to change the matchups. You know, we had talked about getting back the matchups that we wanted, that we thought would be helpful for us.
We're talking casual viewers, families, people who've never even been to a WNBA game before. Clark's bringing new eyes to the sport, and the Fever are reaping the benefits. But it's not just about butts and seats. Clark's impact is reaching beyond the arena. Remember when she showed up at that Pacers playoff game? 17,000 fans went wild. This wasn't even her game, but Clark had the whole place buzzing. She drove a replica Indy car, revved up the crowd, and suddenly, women's basketball was the talk of the town. Now let's talk accolades. Clark didn't just have a good rookie season, she had a historic one. She was named the unanimous Associated Press Rookie of the Year. That's impressive on its own, but wait, there's more. Clark also made the AP All-WNBA First Team as a rookie. That's not just rare, it's almost unheard of. Even the NBA stars are taking notice. Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers all-star guard, couldn't contain his excitement. He tweeted, "Hope y'all seen what 22 doing at Gainbridge." When the pros are fanboying over you, you know you're doing something right. But here's the thing, Clark's impact isn't just about stats or awards.
Better than I usually do, which is a positive, but overall, like, Coach said in the locker room, like, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. Like,
she's changing the entire landscape of women's basketball. The attention she's bringing to the sport is reminiscent of her college career, where she set records for viewership and social media engagement. Now she's doing the same thing at the pro level. Hold up, remember all that hype we were just talking about? Well, the playoffs decided to flip the script. Clark's debut wasn't just rough, it was a wake-up call that had fans and critics alike wondering, is this the same player who took the league by storm? Picture this, the arena's buzzing, fans are decked out in Fever gear, and all eyes are on Clark as she steps onto the court for her first playoff game. The anticipation is through the roof. Then, reality hits. Hard 11 points. That's all Clark could muster in her playoff debut. And we're not talking about a quiet first quarter here. We're talking about the whole game. Clark went 4 for 17 from the field. That's not just a bad day at the office, that's a nightmare for any player, let alone a rookie carrying the hopes of an entire franchise. But wait, it gets worse. Early in the game, Clark takes an accidental poke to the eye. Ouch. She's sporting a shiner that would make a boxer proud. Talk about adding insult to injury. You'd think this would be enough to throw anyone off their game, right? Here's the thing though, Clark isn't just anyone. Even with a black eye and shots that just wouldn't fall, she kept fighting. After missing 10 of her first 11 shots, Clark didn't throw in the towel. Nope. She came back and hit 3 shots in a row after a timeout. That's the kind of grit you can't teach. But let's be real, this wasn't the fairy tale start Clark or the Fever were hoping for. The Connecticut Sun, with their mountain of playoff experience, showed no mercy. They handed Indiana a brutal 93-69 loss. It was a harsh reminder that the playoffs are a whole different beast. Now, you might be thinking, is Clark making excuses? Not a chance. After the game, she didn't blame her eye or the pressure or anything else. Instead, she owned up to it. Clark said, "We didn't play well, didn't play to the level we're capable of playing, we didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of." That's the kind of attitude that separates the good from the great. Clark knows she had a rough night, but she's not letting it define her. She's already thinking about how to bounce back, how to play better, how to lead her team to victory. So, what does this mean for Clark and the Fever? Is the Cinderella story over before it really began? Not so fast. Remember, even the greatest players have had their share of playoff duds. What matters is how they respond. Playoff struggles are tough, but having a support system changes everything. How are the Indiana Pacers stepping up to lift Clark's spirits and fuel her comeback? It's not just about one player or even one team. The entire city of Indianapolis is rallying behind their new basketball sensation. Let's talk about Tyrese Halliburton. This guy isn't just a fan, he's Clark's biggest cheerleader. During a game against the Phoenix Mercury, Halliburton couldn't contain himself. Picture this. Clark makes an insane pass and Halliburton jumps out of his seat, eyes wide, mouth open. He's not just watching the game, he's living it. But it's not just Halliburton. The entire Pacers organization is all in on Clark and the Fever. You'll see Pacers players showing up to Fever games, cheering like they're at their own playoff match. It's like the whole franchise decided, hey, we're all one big basketball family now. And Halliburton's excitement? It's spreading faster than a viral TikTok. Every time Clark makes a play, you can bet Halliburton's going to have a reaction worth watching. It's like he's conducting an orchestra of fans, getting everyone hyped up for each Fever possession. Even the Pacers head coach, Rick Carlisle, is getting in on the action. He's not just praising Clark, he's talking about how important the Fever's success is for the whole city. It's not every day you see an NBA coach going out of his way to big up the WNBA team, but that's exactly what's happening in Indy. You know what's wild? This support isn't just about being nice, it's changing the whole vibe around women's basketball in Indiana. The Pacers aren't treating the Fever like the little sister team. They're treating them like equals, like they're all part of one big basketball powerhouse. And here's the kicker. All this support isn't just feel-good fluff, it's creating a foundation for Clark to bounce back from her tough playoff debut. When you've got an entire NBA team and their fan base cheering you on, it's like having an extra player on the court. Alright, let's talk about what's next for Caitlin Clark. This rookie's been on a wild ride, from college superstar to WNBA sensation, and now she's hit her first real bump in the road. But you know what? That's just part of the story. Game 2 is coming up, and everyone's asking, can Clark bounce back? She's not backing down, that's for sure. Clark said it herself, we're capable of winning this game. That's the kind of fire you want to see. Here's the thing though, win or lose, this is just the beginning for Clark in the WNBA. She's already changed the game, and she's just getting started. The real question is, are you ready to watch Clark write her next chapter? Because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.